Good morning. My name is Ben Holquist, and I use he, him pronouns. I serve as one of your Board of Trustee members, and I'm happy to welcome all of you on Zoom and in the sanctuary to the Tahoma Unitarian Universalist congregation, and I want to wish all of you a happy Mother's Day. Unitarian Universalists are a community of people who hold many beliefs, many origins, identities, sexualities, and genders. We uphold and celebrate the inherent dignity of every person, which means that you are welcome here just as you are. Love is the power that holds us together as we gather in community to seek life's deeper meanings and to celebrate the diversity of all living things. We are all growing and learning from one another. If you are here for the first time, we bid you a special welcome. After the service, I will be in the sanctuary right over there to answer any questions you may have about Unitarian Universalism or our congregation, or if you have questions about how to become involved in our community, just ask. I also encourage you to explore our website, tahomauu.com. At that website, you can sign up for our weekly e-news that includes information about the important and fun events going on in the congregational life and how you can become more involved. There's a few announcements today. To start with, there is a Mother's Day potluck right after service today. Stick around and enjoy that. Downstairs, yes, downstairs. Patty? Patty is right there. Come on up.
Good morning. My name's Patty McPhee, and I'm the director of the arts installation. Please be aware, 2 more weeks and this show comes down and a new show comes up. If you're interested in purchasing anything, now is the time, because I'm not going to be holding anything for anybody. So I need to know if you're interested in the art. And please, let's get excited about this new show that's coming up. I'm really enthusiastic to see how it goes. Thank you.
And Janie?
Good morning. My name is Janie Cox. I use she, her pronouns. I, along with Maria Figueroa and Fran McLaughlin, head up the Third Friday Potluck Triumvirate, who kind of is somewhat in charge of running things. May the 15th is this Friday, which is the third Friday already. Kathy McCall, who's currently on a road trip to the East Coast but is expected back, is going to speak to us about AARP and benefits, and probably some of her experiences as a lobbyist down in Olympia for AARP. So 11:30 this Friday, come to the back door downstairs. The speaker starts around 12:30. Assuming she's back from a road trip, I am going to try to get in touch with her this week. So you're all welcome to come. Thank you.
And Dave?
Good morning, Dave Hackett here. On the theme of the third something or others of the month, next Sunday morning is the third Sunday, and an opportunity to break bread together and have conversation, get to know each other, which is the goal of this. We can meet, if you wish, before church next Sunday at the restaurant called Pacific Southern. It's on Pine Street in Annapolis, not too far from here. Annapolis? Oh, sorry, I just teleported back to our old home in Maryland. Tacoma. So, Annapolis isn't a T word either, is it? Oh, I'm in trouble. Anyway, please, next Sunday morning, if you want to sit around and chat and have a good breakfast, come to Pacific Southern at, I forgot what time.
Huh? What's wrong with your hearing aid? Nothing.
Boy, am I in trouble. 8:30. Anyway, I'll be there, and I want to...
What is this noise?
What?
Oh, it's on here.
I got both places here.
Anyway, let me shut up.
That was awful. That was awful.
not yet figured out what that noise is, but we are investigating. And
Oh, I guess it's,
yeah. And just a quick note, the notification about the congregational meeting will come out this week. So look for that in the e-news and possibly as a separate email, just to make sure everybody knows about it. So, well, yeah. We need final confirmation of the date. I will get it. It will come out this week. You are also invited to join us for social hour immediately following the service, right over there by the windows. For those of you who are newer to our congregation, we have red mugs that also hold more coffee. If you'd like to identify yourself and be approached by members of the congregation, if you choose a white mug, we will only talk to you the normal amount. If you are someone who would benefit from a large print hymnal or a hearing assistance device, they're available in the back of the sanctuary on the left, my left side. We want to remind everybody that our services are available through Zoom and posted to YouTube, which means if you come up front, your image may appear in those venues. As we begin our service in this beautiful place called Tahoma by local indigenous tribes and nations, I acknowledge that we meet today on the land of the Coast Salish people, including the Puyallup tribal nation, land from which they were forcibly displaced. I honor the resiliency of indigenous people and stand with them as they continue to protect their culture, land, and water, and fight for their visibility, sovereignty, and very existence. Lastly, please set your electronic devices to worship mode. Let us exhale deeply and settle ourselves into this holy moment of sharing and receiving. And now let us join together in worship.
Thank you, Marianne. That was really lovely. So this morning, I'm the Reverend Margo Rinehart, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm not assuming you all know who I am, but sometimes I just think that I talk to people in the hallway and I sometimes forget to introduce myself the second time. So I'm going to talk about the spectrum of mothering this morning and how we can pull ourselves out of what has been traditionally thought of as Mother's Day. I'm grounding the service today in our Unitarian Universalist values of pluralism and transformation. And if you are newer to us and you don't know what our values are, we have this great handout that I am going to leave on the altar over here. Feel free to pick one up after the service. There's also some in the foyer, but this will just be easier. So pluralism and transformation. So I also wanted to, if there are new or newer people here this morning, I like to give people a chance to just introduce themselves. You can just say your name and where you're from. This is an invitation. Don't feel pressured to do this, but if you feel moved to let us know, we are so happy that you're here this morning. Oh, great. I'm walking off camera, but I'm telling the Zoom people I'm still here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy, and I live in Tacoma.
Welcome, Kathy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Raven. I'm actually a returning member. I haven't been here since COVID, so it's so great to be back.
Welcome home, Raven. Anybody else? All right. I don't want to create pressure. And I want to tell the people on Zoom, you can't see Raven, but Raven is Michael's daughter. So apparently, yeah, so this is welcome home for her. So we're so glad for you other newer people. We are so glad you found us, and we want to hear about what you are looking for in a community so we can try to meet those needs for you, because our needs are very diverse and we want to know your story. So our opening words are from Claudine Oliva. We stand in this light for mothers and mothering to celebrate those who've taken on the task of nurturing. Perhaps a baby, a child, a youth, or maybe another adult. To celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts. To celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy, and their hearts to the growth of others in this world. We stand in this light to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love.
Good morning. I am Holly Coriel, and I use she, her pronouns. This is my first time serving as celebrant today at the UU Church, so I ask for your grace. I was also asked to share something personal as my first day. So today I'm wearing a necklace of beads, the chalice, and a moose bone. This was made by my cousin Susan. Susan obtained her Master of Divinity degree from Harvard Divinity School in 1985 and was later ordained as a UU minister. She is my dear cousin, and I'm very grateful for her. Okay, now I would like to invite Lizzie to light our chalice. Lizzie is an assistant attorney general for Pierce County and is involved in book clubs. Right. Please join me in reciting the words on the screen. We light this chalice in deep respect for the mystery and holiness of life. Honor, gratitude for those who have gone before, with love and compassion for those who dwell among us, and with hope and faith for the generations to come. Now, please stand in body and spirit to sing Morning Has Broken, number 38 in the grade.
The words will be on the screen. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the swinging, praise for the morning, praise for them bringing fresh from the word. Sweet the rains do fall from the heavens, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet passed. And is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one night Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day.
Time for all ages is a video this morning, is my understanding. So it's time to have our kids all come this way, but first they have a job to do. They collect food and hygiene items. So for anybody who's newer, we have a food drive that goes on every week, and for right now, for the month of May, we're concentrating on hygiene items for a special project, which doesn't mean you can't still bring food, just bring what you can. But it's our kids' jobs to use their muscles. And then if kids can stay up here for the video, that would be great. You don't have to, but, and normally Sean, our director of children's exploration, would be up here, but we are a little short-handed downstairs, so I think he's serving dual roles down there at this moment in OWL. So.
Hello and welcome to Storytime for All Kids. Today's story is A Chair for My Mother, written by Vera B. Williams. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you've already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. My mother works as a waitress in the Blue Tile Diner. After school, sometimes I go to meet her there. Then her boss, Josephine, gives me a job too. I watch the salts and peppers, and fill the ketchups. One time I peeled all the onions for the onion soup. When I finish, Josephine says, "Good work, honey," and pays me. And every time I put half of my money into the jar. It takes a long time to fill a jar this big. Every day when my mother comes home from work, I take down the jar. My mama empties all her change from tips out of her purse for me to count. Then we push all of the coins into the jar. Sometimes my mama is laughing when she comes home from work. Sometimes she's so tired she falls asleep count the money out into piles. Some days she has lots of tips. Some days she has only a little. Then she looks worried. But each evening, every single shiny coin goes into the jar. We sit in the kitchen to count the tips. Usually Grandma sits with us too. While we count, she likes to hum. Often she has money in her old leather wallet for us. Whenever she gets a good bargain on tomatoes or bananas or something she buys, she puts by the savings and they go into the jar. When we can't get a single other coin into the jar, we're going to take out all the money and go and buy a chair. Yes, a chair. A wonderful, beautiful, fat sofa armchair. We will get one covered in velvet with roses all over it. We are going to get the best chair in the whole world. That is because our old chair is burned up. There was a big fire in our other house. All our chairs burned. So did our sofa, and so did everything else. That wasn't such a long time ago. My mother and I were coming home from buying new shoes. I had new sandals. She had new pumps. We were walking to our house from the bus. We were looking at everyone's tulips. She was saying she liked red tulips, and I was saying I liked yellow ones. Then we came to our block. Right outside of our house stood two big fire engines. I could see lots of smoke. Tall orange flames came out of the roof. All the neighbors stood in a bunch across the street. Mama grabbed my hand and we ran. My Uncle Sandy saw us and ran to us. Mama yelled, "Where's Mother?" I yelled, "Where's my grandma?" My Aunt Ida waved and shouted, "She's here, she's here. She's okay. Don't worry." Grandma was all right. Our cat was safe too, though it took a while to find her, but everything else in our whole house was spoiled. What was left of the house was turned to charcoal and ashes. We went to stay with my mother's sister, Aunt Ida, and Uncle Sandy. Then we were able to move into the apartment downstairs. We painted the walls yellow. The floors were all shiny, but the rooms were very empty. The first day we moved in, the neighbors brought pizza and cake and ice cream. And they bought a lot of other things too. The family across the street bought a table and 3 kitchen chairs. The very old man next door gave us a bed from when his children were little. My other grandpa bought us his beautiful rug. My mother's other sister, Sally, had made us red and white curtains. Mama's boss, Josephine, brought pots and pans, silverware, and dishes. My cousin brought me her own stuffed bear. Everyone clapped when my grandma made a speech. "You all are the kindest people," she said, "and we thank you very, very much. It's lucky we're young and can start all over." That was last year, but we still have no sofa and no big chairs. When Mama comes home, her feet hurt. "There's no good place for me to take a load off my feet," she says. When Grandma wants to sit back and hum and cut up potatoes, she has to get as comfortable as she can on a hard kitchen chair. So that is how come Mama brought home the biggest jar she could find at the diner, and all the coins started to go into the jar. Now the jar is too heavy for me to lift down. Uncle Sandy gave me a quarter. He had to boost me up so I could put it in. After supper, Mama and Grandma and I stood in front of the jar. Well, I never would have believed it, But I guess it's full, Mama said. My mother bought home little paper wrappers for the nickels and the dimes and the quarters. I counted them all out and wrapped them all up. On my Mother's Day off, we took all the coins to the bank. The bank exchanged them for $10 bills. Then we took the bus downtown to shop for our chair. We shopped through 4 furniture stores. We tried out big chairs and smaller ones, high chairs and low chairs, soft chairs and harder ones. Grandma said she felt like Goldilocks in the 3 Bears, trying out all the chairs. Finally, we found the chair we were all dreaming of, and the money in the jar was enough to pay for it. We called Aunt Ida and Uncle Sandy. They came right down in their pickup truck to drive the chair home for us. They knew we wouldn't wait for it to be delivered. I tried out our chair in the back of the truck. Mama wouldn't let me sit there while we drove, but they let me sit in it while they carried it up to the door. We set the chair right beside the window with the red and white curtains. Grandma and Mama and I all sat in it while Aunt Ida took our picture. Now Grandma sits in it and talks with people going by in the daytime. Mama sits down and watches the news on TV when she comes home from her job. After supper, I sit with her, and she can reach right up and turn out the light if I fall asleep in her lap. The end. I hope that you enjoyed this story. If
Rise in body or spirit, and let's help sing the children out. Put you in our as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. Nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, we hold you in our love as you go.
Hi, this is David Ray. I'm use he, him pronouns, and I'm your chat chaplain today. I have a quote for you from Khalil Gibran, 1883 to 1931, on children. A woman who held a babe up to her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but not to seek to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are set forth. The archer sees his mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, he loves also the bow that is stable. Khalil Gibran, 1883 to 1931.
Okay, we will be moving into the offering. As you can see on the screen, there's multiple ways to donate, not just today, not just in person, but also online. Okay, I now invite you to recite the offering. We dedicate ourselves and our offerings to the work of this congregation, weaving a tapestry of love for all community, both in and beyond these walls. Please join in body or spirit to sing "'Tis the Gift to Be Simple," number 16 in the Gray Hymnal.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be kind, gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, tis a family, love and delight. When true simplicities came to bow and bend, we shall be ashamed.
So before I do the reading, let me say something about the hymn choices for today. It was very interesting going through our hymnal, trying to find appropriate Mother's Day hymns, because today I want us to start thinking out beyond the binary and to think about mothering as nurturing instead of being gender bound. And our gray hymnal doesn't have that kind of language in it. And then there was one song in the teal hymnal that might have worked, but it was so complicated. I wasn't sure you would forgive me if I chose it. So I passed it by. So instead, I just tried to pick hymns that make us think about who we are in the world and how we are in the world. And then our closing hymn is really about providing care. So maybe we should pick, for next year, maybe we should just pick some popular songs and pass the hymnals by. Or rewrite the words. Yeah. So the reading is called A Prayer for All Who Mother by Victoria Weinstein, who is a Unitarian Universalist. We reflect in thanksgiving this day for all the lives that have nurtured ours, the life-giving ones who heal in their presence, who listen in sympathy, and who give wise advice, but only when asked for it. We are grateful for those who have mothered us, who have held us gently in times of sorrow, who celebrated with us our triumphs, no matter how small, who noticed when we changed and grew, who praised us for taking risks, who took genuine pride in our successes and expressed genuine compassion when we didn't succeed the way we wanted to. On this day, let us honor all mothering, men and women and those who are non-binary alike, from somewhere in their being who have freely and wholeheartedly given life and sustenance and vision. Dear Creator of all, grant us life-giving ways, strength for birthing and a nurturing spirit, that we may take attentive care of our planet, our communities, and those precious beings entrusted to us by biology or destiny or friendship or fellowship. Give us the heart of a mother today. So that was a beautiful description of mothering and qualities we so desperately need in abundance today. We need people who are life-giving and who heal with their presence, people who listen in sympathy and give wise advice, but in measured ways, and sort of have the gift of just that moment of knowing when to provide feedback. For those who hold children, who celebrate large and small triumphs for children, and praise them for taking risks. We join in celebrating successes, and we do express that genuine compassion when hopes didn't go as planned. But I hope that everyone here can see at least one of those attributes, and hopefully many, in themselves. Acts that they've shared, that you've shared with small people or adult children, grandchildren, maybe strangers or pets, neighbors, good friends. I invite us today and going forth to think about mothering in its broadest dimensions in your life, and not gender-bound ones. What does the concept of mothering really mean beyond femininity or biology? My best guess is that all of you, every single one of you, have mothering qualities. So a bit of history about Mother's Day. I took this from the Canadian Unitarian Almanac and Liturgical Calendar, which sounds really dull, but it's written by someone, Stefan Johannesson, who I actually know. I heard him speak at Camp Elliott. So in 1872, Unitarian Julia Ward Howe, who wrote the Battle Hymn of the Republic for the Civil War, began advocating the creation of a Mother's Day for peace, because our nation was still in deep grief over the lives lost during the Civil War. And mothers who joined together saying, never again do we want to send our children off to war. So it was held on June 2nd of each year, and the following year, 18 cities held such a gathering. Bostonians continue to observe the day for more than a decade, but some cities continue to observe well into the turn of the century, the Mother's Day for peace. But then it appeared to die out until in 1907, a Methodist, Anna Jarvis, picked up the call and started to campaign to establish a permanent Mother's Day. And again, Mother's Day being about these losses and this pledge to not have war and violence again. So by the following year, the YMCA took it up, and eventually in 1914, Woodrow Wilson signed a congressional resolution establishing Mother's Day in the United States. And it also spread across other countries. But in time, Jarvis was troubled as what she saw Mother's Day starting to become commercialized. Imagine that. She said, I wanted it to be a day of sentiment, not profit. She was opposed to the sale of flowers, but not to the giving of homegrown blossoms. She also lamented the advent of the Mother's Day card, describing it as a poor excuse for the letter you are too lazy to write. I can only shake in fear of what she would think of texts and tweets and Instagram. Yeah. And interestingly enough, and I heard this again on the radio as I was driving in, Mother's Day is the most heavily attended Sunday in North American churches outside of Christmas and Easter. Yeah, and I'm puzzled a little bit because our families are suspiciously missing this morning. I know some of them are in Our Whole Lives class, which starts at the same time the service does. Normally they're up here, but they had to go straight to class, and they're doing that for about 8 weeks. So that's where some of them just went straight to class. And then we'll see them at the Mother's Day potluck downstairs later. So now we are taking the idea to be beyond women as mothers. So the contributions of non-binary people and fathers and anyone who however they define themselves, who engages in nurturing. Unitarian Universalist calls us to think about that pluralism of how we all show up differently, and also to honor the resiliency of all of those who mother, who bear the brunt of especially those dealing with hurtful policies and weighed down by stigma. And as we know now, families who are just struggling to stay together while one or both parents are being deported or detained. So it's also a time for us to think about how all families can thrive, what it takes to create those conditions. So there are a lot of deep complexities in celebrating Mother's Day. It's a day of great joy for some. It's fraught with complicated family dynamics for others, and painful for those who want to be parenting and are not, or those who are estranged from their children. This is expressed in great candor in a poem by Amy Young, which is entitled The Wide Spectrum of Mothering. And the sentiments are apt whether your children are still at home or are now adults, and whether you are mothering biologically in family or just friends and children and even adults who you have contact with, and that all living things need mothering. So her poem, her reading. For those who gave birth this year to their first child, we celebrate with you. For those who have lost a child this year, we mourn with you. For those who are in the trenches with little ones every day and you wear a badge of a food stain, we appreciate you. For those who experience loss through failed adoptions, miscarriages, or running away, we mourn with you. To those who walk the hard path of infertility, we walk with you, and forgive us when we say those insensitive things. We don't mean to make it harder than it already is. To those of you who are foster moms, mentor moms, spiritual moms, we need you. To those who have warm and close relationships with your children, we sit with you. For those of you who have disappointment and heartache and distance from your children, we sit with you too. For those who lost their mothers this year, we grieve with you. To those who live through driving tests, medical tests, the overall testing of parenthood, we are better for having you in our midst. To those who are single and long to be married and mothering for your own children, we are with you knowing that life has not turned out the way you had hoped it would be. To those who envision lavishing love on grandchildren, yet that dream is not to be, we grieve with you. To those who will have emptier nests in the upcoming year, we grieve and rejoice with you. To those who place children up for adoption, we commend you for your hard choice, which was selflessness, and remember how you still hold that child in your heart. This Mother's Day, we walk with you. Mothering is not for the faint of heart, and we have some real warriors in our midst. We remember all of you. Just want to let that settle in for a minute. And my son is not watching, but I'm just going to say in case. I know. In this opportunity to stretch this gender definition of mothering, does it only mean we can mother if we have an XY DNA chromosomal package? I think we know that that's not true. I spent a fair amount of time reading what makes the best parents or the best parenting. And I'm going to read you a list in a minute. And I was a social worker for 25 years working with children and families before I was a minister. So this list was dear to my heart. So here's what research says. Protective, affectionate, and nurturing, encourages independence and provides support. Patient and kind, dependable, valuing of the other parent, verbally expressive, industrious, playful, able to admit mistakes, able to admit mistakes, and forgive yourself for them. Understanding and validating, providing creative outlets for physical play and physical play, and a good sense of humor. And a good washing machine, I will add. These are all qualities of great parents. When my son was 17, I went down to his room to talk to him for something, and I realized that he had a coffee mug that said on it, Happy Mother's Day. It was accompanied by a card that says, a mom is, and then I couldn't read the inside. And there was a vase with silk flowers in it. Now, let me say, we weren't anywhere near Mother's Day, so I was really quite perplexed and making assumptions that it was all for me. He sends you this story of what it means to be a mother. So this is a story from, he would have been 17 at the time, 17-year-old Unitarian Universalist youth. He says, a mother is someone who can be relied upon. Oh, wait, back up. The cup, the arrangement, and the card were given to him by some freshman students who I knew, and I knew a little bit about what was going on in this story, but I didn't know the whole depth of it till a few months later, as these other students in the story were talking to me. So he says to all of you, because he submitted this to me, a mother is someone who can be relied on, someone who made space for joys and sorrows, fears and hopes and dreams. To sum it up, all a word would be impossible, but the closest one is nurturing. We may call it maternal instinct, but all of us share a deep desire to nurture others. The first opportunity I had, meaning him, to truly nurture others was when I was a high school senior. I knew just about everybody in the school. I don't think so. I knew the tricks of how to make a shortcut from class to class, and I knew the feeling of loneliness that came from not having peers that shared your true passions, which for him, one of those was music. The other one was politics. The other one was infrastructure. So my son says, I noticed a trio of young musicians. They were freshmen in my orchestra. Each had a remarkable dedication to their craft. And I invited them to practice with my senior friends, with us after school and during sectionals. My upperclassmen friends and I spent that year teaching them our tips and tricks and various shortcuts. The tricky questions they would encounter throughout their classes, the most fun teachers to take courses with, that kind of thing. But most importantly, we nurtured their growth as musicians. We helped them with fingering patterns, with rhythm, what the conductor's biggest pet peeves were, everything we could think of. And we had a lot of fun together. As I'm sure most parents know, you'll love this, a dedicated child quickly surpasses their teachers. Within a few months, they were all better musicians than I was. One of these girls went to New York University on a full cello scholarship. Their relationship changed from students and tutors to peers and friends. After all of that nurturing, they started calling me their mom friend. And I was what the kids called a mom friend with my chest puffed out. When my own mother heard the title, that Christmas, a hoodie showed up under the tree that said Orchestra Mom stitched across the back. And it became the jacket I wore every day. Some people teased me, and I wore it proudly. My experience of nurturing musicians is not the same thing as parenting a child, but I loved my little slice of nurturing others as a mom. On this Mother's Day, I encourage you all to show appreciation for those who have mothered you, and then think about who and what you could nurture in your life. End quote. I know he's not watching. I'm waiting. And really, grandkids can wait. I know you got a lot to do. So in bringing this sermon to a conclusion, and from now through Father's Day, I'd like us all to push away some of the gender stereotyping. If we thought about good parenting, Parents' Day. So let's step outside the binary and into the world of nurturing. Let's also step into the idea that we all have nurturing to offer. So sometimes at the end of the sermon, we just take a moment to set an intention. So let's just close our eyes, be quiet for a moment. And think about what nurturing we might be able to do over the next few weeks. Maybe it's a call you need to make, conversation you need to have. Maybe something you want to share that you're thinking about how to share with kindness and support. Maybe it's in our bigger community where you donate food and time, care. There are people in our congregation who clean porta potties every week because they do that for our safe parking guests. And know that if you were going to offer these things to someone else, that your gift is good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. Any offering of freely given nurturing is good enough. Amen. And Patty is now going to lead us in our last hymn.
Our last hymn is in the teal hymnal. That's this one, this color, but the words will be on the screen. It's entitled, When I Am Frightened. When I am frightened, will you reassure me? And I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care. When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your questions with me? If you will show me acceptance, then I may learn to give as you do. Then I may learn to give. When I am troubled, will you listen to me? When I am lonely, will you be my friend? Will you believe in my comfort and tenderly? Will you share some of your feelings with me? If you will show me commandment, then I may learn to love as you do. Then I may learn to love.
Wow. So let us just think. Let us just think about, I want to say thank you for, I want my closing words to be thank you for all that you do for our own children's program here. I know we don't really get to see what they're doing because they're downstairs, but they're in class and they're feeling cared for and they're feeling valued. And when they come up afterwards and can't wait to get to the cookies and the pretzels and the goodies, and you are all so lovely with them, so nurturing, so welcoming. You share smiles with them when you don't even know their names. So thank you for supporting our children's program, which supports not only their kids, but their parents too.
Please join in our closing. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together. Okay, please rise in body or spirit for our closing song.
There are hand movements to this if you want to follow along. From you I receive, to you